we always talk about one boomer. There's two boomers in there for NUTURN, and they have the experience to guide the young fraggers of Lakia and Peri to come back into this game. So I think they're good to shake out that first map away. You didn't see the jitters. You didn't see the nervousness going on into the player camps before we see the agent composition right now for NUTURN. So you see it right now on their end. Still, no switches coming through. They still want to play solo as that breach initiator for this double play that they have. And they've been good at it, actually, on these set plays to work towards at least the long C executions. I love the flashers from solo and allow from corner of long C all the way into side default boxes to get into there. But the thing that's been difficult for all of the teams facing against Sentinels at the beginning on this map is just how TenZ was able to move around with that operator as Jet on the A side. They had to find a way to stop him, and I think, again, the fault lines that have been key for solo on that first map and for NUTURN could definitely be detrimental onto how TenZ could set up as Sentinels on this A side, or at least on this A side to start, as they're looking for control here for Sentinels at the choke point area. It won't spot anything, so they might be able to rotate one player back.
Both NUTURN and Sentinels feeling one another out in the early moments here on Haven. You can see that's, I mean, we've seen this from Sentinels so far this tournament. They do often like to opt into just playing quite a passive opening just to really allow their opponents, well, allow themselves time to see what their opponents want to do, but also at the same time, not really showing any weaknesses or opportunities for their opponents.
It could get dangerous here, Dan. They're looking to work towards the C site, and I think one thing that could really stop him is how dappr's setting things up. The camera's perfect to watch that cubby. It spots Peri, who's currently also carrying that spike. And if they're actually trying to dash into the site, they have a trap wire right next to default. So if Allow dashes in, yes, he's going to be safe, but if he's going to try to circle around the default, it's not going to work. But look at this. They're falling back to try to sell a fake towards this A side because Peri stays inside this corner. So up to Solo and also up to Lakia. They throw the first fault line. It forces actually ShahZaM to rotate towards the A side, but the hit is still going to happen towards C.
Yeah, I love this from NUTURN. Really trying to big brain Sentinels here, but there comes the flash, and Sentinels now know exactly what's going on. 6 deep, he's in the cage actually. He's gonna have to try to pick, oh my god, sick is nuts! Great shot there, and that's going to eliminate most of these entry fraggers here for NUTURN. 7 seconds to go, they've got to plant the spike, they've got to start planting the spike, there's no time. Zombs, he's done it. The round is impossible to win now, there's just no time. And Sentinels will pick it up, despite a few extra kills coming in late here for NUTURN.
Wow. Well, I guess that's a silver lining, right? They get no spike plant for NUTURN. Sola gets 4 kills and a death. That means he's already 2 away from a Rolling Thunder. And if you have the math correctly, technically NUTURN, if they want to go for a buy into the 3rd round, then they also have a great Rolling Thunder to execute into the site, which is why you see them right now with their economy. They're not spending that much. They have Solo with the Sheriff, and that's pretty much it. So battling for an orb to get ready into the next round when they have weapons could be actually key for the next round.
And no force buy this time from NUTURN. Lakia just hopping up, looking to get in towards B. Well, he destroyed a tripwire for his troubles, at least. Oh,
wow.
Hello.
Okay.
Nice catch. Oh, speaking of a good catch, Solos. Gonna take down Zombs as well. There's only 3 players left now for Sentinel.
Oh, no.
This is getting quite awkward. They have to get the spike, though, and it's actually back window, which is precisely where TenZ is. TenZ could still save this round. He spotted the spike. Oh, my goodness. Well, there goes Peri, and he's lit up Allow. Like, Allow can't really fight TenZ at all, and TenZ knows it. He's going to finish him off.
At least Peri got the kill before he died, right? So that actually puts TenZ on his own. It's a 2 versus 1, but TenZ could definitely be the clutcher. Oh, look at that.
Oh, the Rolling Thunder. He loved to see it. He actually he's going to use the Rolling Thunder there. I love that. I love it.
That was just off 2 kills that Solo needed, right? Because we said he was 2 ult points away from getting that ult. So to lurk inside that B site to get the first kill, pick up the Spectre and the second one, and to invest into the Rolling Thunder, I thought it was going to be going into the 3rd round. But screw it. We're using it right away to just make sure that we secure this round and potentially put here the eco for Team Sentinel. So I think it was beautifully played here for NUTURN just by these entries that we've gotten from the practice of the shares that these players have for the Korean players.
The fact that TenZ almost dodged that too with a dash, that would have been quite amusing, but it is Sentinels on this Marshall on 10, so it's, you know, just the eco here for them.
Yeah.
Managed to get a couple shields as well. Again, gotta prevent TenZ from getting any value early in the rounds.
Sentinels seems to be reading. Exactly. They seem to be reading some sort of presence towards the A side, so they start with an early stack on this A side. You do have Sick that's kind of like holding an off angle towards sewers right away, so that if he does come into contact, probably some nebulas will come up right away to try to slow to run the clock down for Sentinels defense.
Ooh, Sick is punished. And they're going to rotate off of this. I like it. 40 seconds, so like a good amount of time to go. And so far, Sentinels have been relying on dapr with the camera, as you can see on the mini-map. Just hold things down towards C long, get that information. And I like the solos moving towards B. This is actually so interesting. The Sentinels are actually expecting a fake. dapr will catch one with the shorty, but of course, as you can see, there's just such a long rotation. Solo's already there to try to cut some of this off. And he might find a quick one. So far, so good here for NUTURN.
Enemy remaining.
Love it. So with that pick to lurk already inside that B side, trying to cut rotations like you mentioned, Dad, but not only that, when he actually missed the first few shots against Zombs, he still just left the defender spawn because they already had control of map, post plant. They have more bodies that can move up to. He doesn't need to help out his teammate inside that site. He just wants to make sure that he wins that 1 versus 1 against Zombs and have less bodies for Sentinels, less chances for Sentinels for a body retake into the C site. And we saw a beautiful display of NUTURN just running down that map, right? Trying to create that diversions, trying to force the rotations, and running back towards that C side. It's something definitely night and day from their bind play, where it was static on a default to try to figure out Sentinels. But so far, it's been going pretty well to control the map at the beginning for the attacker side. And speaking about controlling the map, they're controlling a default once again, as I mentioned that. But on Sentinel's side, they haven't found information, though.
They each put a knife in each other. That's beautiful. This is an anime battle waiting to happen. Let's see if TenZ can give it to us. Ready with the knives. Goes another one. It's running low on those. Hunter's Fury comes through. Oh, this is a fantastic Hunter's Fury. Lakia is completely gone. In fact, I think it gets a double off of that. Such a smart read. TenZ got the information, knowing they grouped up in A lobby. It's hard to dodge that Hunter's Fury if you're shooting it from the right place. TenZ still has the Blade Storm. It's still a problem. And the dash too.
Yeah,
NUTURN are really just burning the clock.
30 seconds left.
Peri's managed to creep into the B side meanwhile. But there's the spike. I mean, Peri can do whatever he wants towards B, but the spike is lost. Lau's not going to be able to get there in time, really. Able to take down one, but it's a quick 180 to deal with ShahZaM. Too much to ask, as Sentinels will equalize the score 2-2.
Definitely something very similar that NUTURN was trying to do, right? With less numbers, but still trying to have somebody to try to take B control, force off the rotations, and then as finally Peri takes a bit of control towards the B side, they try to activate for NUTURN on the A side split. But again, when you have less numbers, it's one body on sewers, one body on long. You're coming up head-to-head against TenZ. Where he misses, he could always dash away. It was very dangerous from the get-go. I mean, ShahZaM's been very good for these Hunter's Furies without the information, right? The blind Hunter's Fury to try to fight back towards the short A choke has been good. But this time, you saw the flash come out. You saw a recon dart. You've already forced it away. Allow moves up, but it's a perfect flash from Sick.
Yeah, early victory here for Sentinels, and a pretty big issue for NUTURN. They're going to have to commit towards C, it looks like, pretty quickly here, because they've given up all their information on the map. Losing a player early. They'll pick up the pace here into TenZ. The drone is going to tag TenZ. That's a big win. The flash comes through. The paranoia comes through as well. They've got to convert off of this, though. Lakia takes down dapr. TenZ still there in the cloud burst. He wanted that no-scope, but he gets denied by Lakia. And in goes Sick in between all of them. What can he find here? Zombs will be the one to get Lakia, and the run it back is cancelled out. So still a fight, a desperate fight over this C site.
Down, C.
Spike is now down on the ground as Zombs is ready for suggest crab walk there, and it's up to Peri in the 1v2. Fantastic first engagement. Second player, another flick. It's too much. Just what a crazy brawl on that C side. It will be Sentinels again coming out on top just by one player.
I actually like the flashes that are being thrown from NUTURN here, Dan, because the standard way, usually when you see an Omen inside that C choke and he throws that paranoia into the side of the logs, at the same time, though, you have some great flashes being thrown by Solo just by the same spot at logs 2 to flash the default in the back. Because sometimes if you want to put a smoke towards default, it gets covered up. So it just allows NUTURN to get into the sights, but to leave it into a 1 versus 1, a clutch play potential here for Peri, it shows just like even losing the numbers in the beginning for Sentinels, they still have some great players that just off pure skill could turn it back around. But look at TenZ's position. He's in a great spot for a 2K.
And there it is, effortless there from TenZ. Picks up both. Looks like everything's being defended quite nicely here by Sentinels. It's just Sheriff, so you can see that NUTURN are really trying to take some risks there, trying to force some engagements. They managed to do an okay job. They killed Sig.
Yeah.
And just TenZ is just TenZ, so...
Yeah, and at this point, you're trying to figure out how you could stop them, right? And I do like the little change that you see from Sentinels at this point because they're starting to see a little bit more pressure from NUTURN towards this A side. We talked about the fault line, we talked about the flashes, trying to get allowed to move forward, and this time we didn't even allow. I was trying to find a different word, but just off the spot. He couldn't get pass out the A choke. So nice little variation here from Sentinels that forces NUTURN to just rethink how they want to take control of the A side again. And it starts off with the Owl Drone. It pushes ShahZaM's back, where he's playing the A side by himself and off the boom bot at the same time. It's looking to be a heavy hit towards the A side.
And the Showstopper's going to come out here for Suggest as well to try to entry into the A sites. Oh, he's going to find... Oof. It looked like he could have gotten the catch there on the player in heaven, but they'll still get the spike planted. Meanwhile, though, Sentinels are coordinating for a retake. The Cosmic Divide goes down as well. That's going to really cripple the hold here for NUTURN. Six going to drop with his curveball.
Dude.
It's a labored spray, but he'll catch the kill. And that just leaves two players here. Solo takes one with him. I mean, Lakia has Hunter's Fury, but I don't know that you want to get this. And the flick is pretty quick there from Lakia, but still just too much to handle. And Sentinels begin to pull away again.
That was just a beautiful retake there from Sentinels, because not only the Cosmic Divide, it allows Sentinels to get into the site, but combining it with the Gravity Well at that default. After a plant, you're sticking around that area as a plant carrier, the plant spiker, you're trying to watch that window side, you get pulled away and immediately headshot it from heaven side. And then that allows Sick to also throw the curveball down the window towards Hell and just drops for a solo play to get that kill. It's been very difficult for NUTURN to set up a crossfire on that pulse plant, and Sentinels does a great job out of that. And because of that, this puts NUTURN on a lower buy. Looks like they're forcing up here with a Spectre and a couple of shares, but they've worked their abilities and have worked their ultimates with this before. And now that they have three of them, I wouldn't be surprised if they're trying to get something done here towards eventually potentially a B site.
Yeah, some early presence there towards A. Solo, in fact, is going to just push all the way down A short. Oh, Zombs, so ready for it. I mean, he has... They have done this a couple of times, NUTURN. They do like to try to walk into B, especially when they're on these low buys. So at this point, it seems like Zombs has a lot of anticipation for that. And TenZ, he smells weakness, and he'll pounce. 3 versus 4. And they're going to be running into ShahZaM. Yeah, this could actually be an opportunity. The Astra Star comes in though, and that should help protect ShahZaM. That can be that can go down as a smoke, and that will allow ShahZaM to cross back to safety. That said though, maybe there is no safety. He's going to have to fight his way out of there. Well, he's ShahZaM. He's going to do just that. Great result there with that Phantom, and he seems like he'll be able to hold this one off by himself.
20 seconds left. You've gotten 2 kills. You've upgraded into a Phantom. Are you going to try to hurt more economy or just try to go to save this weapon? Looks to be the first part. Looking to do some damage here towards the A side. He's now spotted from heaven. Unfortunately, Zombs goes for the kill. So not much more than that, but at least the Bladestorm is ready into the next round. And I kind of like this play, actually, from how Sentinels readapted towards this play from NUTURN. Because on these pistol rounds, it's quite common to maybe try to hit towards that B side, especially sometimes when you have a Sage in your composition. You wall up, you want to try to plant towards B. But they're just looking for something to get these openers with their shares, get into close range battles with the shares to guarantee a one-shot to the dome. But it's been heavily countered just from an off position from Zombs there inside that B site. So with that, though, NUTURN looking for a fast push inside the sewers because of these knives, and they open it up onto TenZ.
That is glorious there from NUTURN. That's the stuff we're looking to see. Breach, flash, jet dash into a headshot. NUTURN now 5v4 early on. They've stolen away the operator as well onto Allow. Allow's actually working into... Oh, God, it's very close. I don't know if there's a dash available, but looks like Allow will be able to dodge the remaining Hunter's Fury blasts. And the rotation from Sentinels comes through onto the A site, but meanwhile, Suggest has been lurking up into B, and the positioning game is well and truly in favor of NUTURN. However, dapr can still cause problems. But with that said, it looks like NUTURN actually recommit into B. Here comes the paranoia through. 6 still good for the frag, though. Sentinels are getting all of the kills as they come back into the site. Suggest, he thinks that he's being unseen, but he gets caught by dapr. Rolling Thunder comes through to pull them off of the defuse. Solo has to go through the flames. It is not a good look, and it's a firing squad there ready and waiting for Allow. Oh my goodness. It seemed like, again, there's so much promise for NUTURN, but after all of the action, it just makes the action looks very convincing for Sentinels.
Yeah. Sometimes it's not about the kills too, right? It's just that single trapwire that was placed by dapr on that right side of B, where it basically Suggest activated it by walking over it. It just showed the hand that there was not only a lurk play going into this B site, but the fact that they used the Hunter's Fury and the run it back to push the attackers away from A, you know that hit was happening towards the B side anyway. So after a pulse plan, you already have 3 players rotating back from the A choke, and they didn't give a chance for NUTURN to set up for a pulse plan. And to try to run through a hot hands like that with all these smokes, not necessarily achievable there for NUTURN on a pulse plant when you've lost all your players. So a good time and a good moment to pull out the tactical timeout for NUTURN. They have to try to figure things out. And so far, Dan, they've had some sort of success getting into this B sites, and also from the way that they've been activating the breach into the C site. They're getting a lot of success out of that too, despite the amount of utility that's being placed on the defense for Sentinels. But again, it's the mid rounds, the end rounds, the gunfights that seems to always show an upper hand from Sentinels' side.
Yeah, I think one thing that's interesting as well is that NUTURN created this 5v4 very early on in the previous round, and it was looking very good because they then really convinced Sentinels to rotate everybody towards A, and it isolated dapr completely by himself on the C site. And you know, NUTURN, they could at that point really go for C, but they went for B instead, and that is surprising because B is such a difficult site to hold. And if they were, you know, having dapr isolated in the way that they had him, definitely, you know, I feel like most teams are going to want to convert there. I feel like B is usually like, well, if we have to, we'll do it. But that's usually the last, the kind of Hail Mary.
You bring up a good point, actually, because even when you're looking at how NUTURN's currently playing this right now, even a pulse plant for utility for a pulse plant, NUTURN doesn't have much, right? Maybe they're able to keep paint chills if they have to keep Suggest alive after an entry on top of that, and shock darts. But you don't have any hot hands. You have to go for flashes and peeks. It's very difficult. But off this timeout, Sick is trying to be the one that's going to make his mark by opening up a kill here from garage side.
Yeah, it feels quite oppressive playing against Sentinels for sure. Good peek there from Sick. And we've got NUTURN now making their way up C long. They've been spotted though, and the rotation definitely respects that from Sentinels. They've got players coming through into position. dapr defending backside nicely here. Allow goes down. dapr in his own cage, trying to spray and cause problems there. Able to get the reload off. Lakia unable to really get the space to really secure this site by himself. Needs some help here. Needs somebody to give him a hand, and Suggest comes through, but it's just not enough. It's not enough. Sentinels again just win out on this C site, and that's 8-2 now. They are really getting quite far ahead.
Oh yeah, and you drop the spike, unfortunately, as you're trying to move up towards this C side. That's a great pick from Sig. Look at the amount of headshots he's landing right now too, right? The way that he's playing on top of the logs, even if he doesn't get kills, look at how it enabled for Sentinels to already be on that rotate. The assist coming out here from the shot guards at the same time too. The fault line was a little bit too late. You've lost too many bodies now for NUTURN. And again, unfortunately, I think they have answers right now for NUTURN. It's just they can't lay it down against Sentinels. They're reading it correctly with this boom bot at the beginning, and now the hot hands to even try to push him back. You suggest to see who's running through it.
Oh, such a chance coming through, but TenZ absolute hero mode there, saving his teammates. And at the same time, like, we see Allow tried to get some action towards the A side of the map here, but every peak except that one was going the way of Sentinels. But could that be the peak that changes things? It's still a really difficult situation. A 3 versus 4. Solo's on 3 HP as well. And they're against 4 players. TenZ has the Blaze Storm ready to go. Oh! Peri out of the sky! Blast TenZ straight in the face. And there comes the ult TP all the way across to C. But Peri is alone against 3. This is going to be quite difficult. Just the Sheriff to go, and dapr's going to pepper him from distance to finish him off. Good attempt. Fantastic shot, but the end result is the same. Sentinels win the round.
Despite all that, I don't care that they lost a round for NUTURN. That was an absolute monster of a shot there from Peri. To flick that into TenZ flying in the air. Still 9-2 in favor of Sentinels. You still have, again, those little silver linings that gives you hope as a NUTURN fan. And look at that, he's expected it the whole time. Just really reading the plays. Like I said, NUTURN are doing a good job reading how Sentinels might be playing these retakes, might be playing overall, but it's just, again, the firepower, the skill set. For Sentinels seems to be just a little bit too much right now for NUTURN. Look at this. They're just going all out here towards the C site, Dan.
Here we go.
Off a fault line.
dapr's going to be the recipient of this. He's so slippery, though. He's such a good player at holding his ground at the back of the site. There goes Allow there. Updraft dash on top of the Radiant box. Suggest with the showstopper.
Camera sees it all.
And there goes Undisputed coming through as well. Suggest is going to get tagged, and that's him dead. Spike on him just now planted. Sick with the running back, comes through off the back of the flash, just doing the damage, getting the kills, and creating space for his teammates. We get the gravity wells causing problems around default as well, but NUTURN still holding onto the site somehow, still. Lakia looking after Garage by himself. Peri trying to hold onto the site with Allow, and Allow's going to go down. TenZ now flanking. It's up to Lakia. Lakia can't get it done, though, and Sentinels bring it home. Another round, and we was that a tactical coming through? Am I getting thrown by the overlay?
I wonder, right? Because they still have one to go here for NUTURN, but at the same time, just from hitting these and not run it back, they didn't do it with information. You think they didn't do it, but it did. Just dapr was a security guard for that round. Like I said, they gave up that site. He played safe inside that B site, turned on the camera, didn't ping a single person. He was just calling out everything for Sick and for ShahZaM. You see it from the camera feed. One default. And one's hiding in the back of the site. Sick and ShahZaM are just moving in with their ults and to just open it up. And while they create that ruckus towards the C site, well, TenZ was already on that flank at long C. So it was very difficult for NUTURN on that pulse plant to try to win that, just from the sheer fact that they didn't break the camera. It's been another one of those rounds where one single ability has turned around over in favor of Sentinels at that point. Now with this pistol, though, pressure is on. They're not feeling it for NUTURN because they're pressuring down towards Stewards and already towards long A. And this allows for the other 3 players to still manage their stacked numbers towards the C side and looking to play a retake on the B site.
Yeah, I love this. B is often just empty, and in a pistol round, it's definitely a different story compared to a gun round in terms of how good it is for the attackers. And we'll have the push coming through on the flank here as well from a lobby from NUTURN to see what they can make happen here. Oh, Zombs gets caught by a fadeaway from Lakia. TenZ, though, picking up where Zombs left off. And dapr is now fighting by himself against Jest and Peri. He's going to play the time here as much as possible. There goes Peri, though, with the stick. And dapr, it was just counting on them coming off of it. It's not going to work out for dapr. NUTURN pick up a much-needed round, a pistol round, no less, on this second half.
Very nicely done there for NUTURN. Sentinels probably did not expect to have two players coming back on that rotate, on that flank. And that pinch that came in from the garage side was just very well done for NUTURN at this point. You said it, Dan. It was a much important pistol round that was needed here for NUTURN to try to come back into this game, and now at least it allows for that investment to come in for the defender side too. But Sentinels, they just want to close it out right now. Another Marshall in the hands of TenZ. He's setting up right now to try to get some sort of control towards the garage area, and the rest of them are now moving just behind him on grass. Looks like it's going to be B instead here.
This is awesome. You would never expect to see him there. The dash comes through. Solo in a good position to at least get the punish. But look at the chaos here. Sentinels trying to spring off of TenZ's action. NUTURN control it, though. Slow it down. And here they go through garage. Suggest they're ready and waiting.
Oh.
Zombs down to 1 HP. Peri wants some action here. Moving forward with the Spectre. Oh god, it's so scary. He's 1 HP. Finally finds the bullet onto Zombs. dapr. He's carved a path through an opening to that A site for the plant. Solo and Peri on the rotation. This is a very messy round here for NUTURN. Let's see if they can find a recovery. Out comes the Sheriff from dapr. Spotlight comes through as well, and in goes NUTURN. Oh. Solo swinging wide with that Judge. And Peri with the Spectre. Nice little combo there, and they'll close it down in favor of NUTURN. Oh, that was a bit scary, though.
When you open it up like that with a beautiful Marshall shot from TenZ, and you're making things a little bit difficult in that fight, you've mentioned it. Zombs had 1 HP for the longest time on that battle against Peri inside the garage. For him to still do, what, 25 damage, 50 damage onto Peri before? That shows how it's a little bit shaky for NUTURN. They're starting to feel that pressure, but at least they capitalized on that victory in the end. Fault line doesn't hit anybody, but you got to judge with a drive-by. With that spread on low HP for Sentinels, what they had on a 2 versus 2, you're happy you got that round. But it was expensive. You got another gun round coming in for Sentinels because of that spike plant. Blade Storm from TenZ at the same time. Control towards long B, but it's still going to be, just slowly but surely, taking this towards control off the Owl drone. Oh, nice.
Ooh. Sick. Getting caught there by that nice angle. Elevated position. TenZ once again looking to open things up for his team. Smoked off though, so no entry there for TenZ. Push
it was so dangerous
from
then.
Solo is
he was
huge.
actually on the double box. If he actually did kill Sick, that was spiked down. That was a little bit
Solo.
dangerous.
Are they going to walk into this position? It looks like they are. There's a trip there. Will they check for Solo? Looks like they might, but he's got the Judge! And that's 2 for Solo. That is huge. Gets to upgrade to the Phantom. A 5 versus 3 now for NUTURN. dapr and Sick do have rifles, though. And NUTURN are taking their precious time on the rotation. They're really trying to check for everything. Solo gets caught by dapr. 30 seconds to go. TenZ is on the site. Still a very good chance for Sentinels to win this round. Oh!
Oh.
The jump shot is a great way to start things off here. TenZ covering with the daggers, and Sick is going to be doing an even better job with the Phantom. And just like that, it's a 1 versus 3 here for NUTURN. Peri is going to have a hell of a task on his hands. And I mean, there's a couple players that are quite weak, but I'll have to see if Peri can find that first opening engagement. Sentinels with a great peek there. One player in an elevated position, one player lower down for the double peek. You can't really beat that too easily.
It started off so well there for NUTURN. No information gathered by Sentinels after getting picked at the beginning. The trap wire Again, for Solo, not trying to cross it over because he doesn't want to give his position away, thinking that it's going to be the coast clear. Because of that,
30 seconds.
he's able to amass to 2 beautiful kills. But after that, he misses that shot against dapr. That just turned things over right there for Sentinels. Because if Solo was still alive, that was 2 backstab kills on Sick and TenZ. And that makes things a little bit... not a little bit. Very unfortunate for NUTURN. They're going to have to go for this buy coming in, and Ares in the hands of Lakia. You have a judge and no armor for Allow. They're really putting everything in right now.
Cool push coming in from Solo. Gets taken down by Zombs by Garage, but look at their pushes coming through. They are really trying to cause problems here, but they're getting caught out. Maybe that's a sign of desperation from NUTURN. Down to three players, and Sentinels will decide to just fully commit this one now to the A site. And allows that with a judge.
It's tough though, exactly. It's going to be a run it back to come in. So Allow is going to have his position away.
Oh, tries to get the
my!
punish. He's going to find it somehow. That's 2 players now against 3. So he's really created, Allow has created a chance for his team. I mean, Peri is kind of far away though. Be a very tough one. There's no post-plant ults or anything like that to worry about, but TenZ is so lethal. There's not too much to be done about that one.
Yeah, when there's no post-plant utilities that you have to worry about, maybe from shock darts, you still have the firepower that Sentinels has to worry about too, though. That was a nasty shot, and unfortunately, this is going to be a round to think about. They're going to use this time to try to figure out, you see how Solo is thinking right now. What can we actually do to try to bring this round back? Because it's map point, serious point here for Sentinels, as they're just looking to stroll to the grand finals of Masters 2.
Yeah, definitely. It's going to be very difficult to find the recovery for NUTURN. I really liked how they opened the round with Solo going for that push in mid. I think that was really smart. It caught Sentinels off guard on that timing, but ultimately, you know, we then had like, you know, 2 more pushes in different positions from NUTURN. It's looking like it's, you know, coming apart a little bit, but we'll see. We'll have to see if they're able to find something. Here, they've had to force buy. This is it. This is match point now for Sentinels. Solo and Suggest, they're just fighting in mid.
But they're retreating.
That was a bit too far.
It's a Guardian long range. Oh, TenZ gets the kill. And despite them getting the kills, they're still falling back here, Dan. So still giving respect to Sentinels. And now Suggest is by himself.
Gets caught by the Hunter's Fury as well. And just like that, it looks like NUTURN players are evaporating. 2v3. The Rolling Thunder is available. And there it goes. Solo has to do everything by himself here to keep NUTURN alive in this one. And he's going to get peppered from all sides. And there we go. Sentinels take down NUTURN on map 2 on Haven. 13-4 to take the series, to move forward to the grand finals. And they are going to be knocking down NUTURN. NUTURN still alive, of course, in this tournament. But they surely got rocked.